Hi.
Hey, Rob.
Jack.
Back for episode, what's this? Is that our 8 or 9? Is this 9 for us?
This is 9 for us.
9 for us, alright. And we're getting
Episode 12 for the season.
Yes, well, let's go on with the bet first.
Okay, I lost both.
You lost it all. Like,
Yeah,
just
I
kinda
lost
kept getting
everything.
worse. Now, I did think during the episode, I'm like, oh, we got 2 eliminations. That maybe I get it because of the Andrea vote going out.
Yeah.
And then the next one would have been a nothing vote. And
Which
I would have
it
been like, well, there was but there was still my Cerie thing.
No, but Michaela wasn't a...
No, she was a
she's
but
small
it was. But if you watched last week's episode of You and Me, I did say Cerie goes for a plan and it backfires in it.
I agree with you.
So I'm taking that. I'm taking that.
No, I'm going... But the problem... Look, I don't think either of us won the second round because...
What do you mean?
We made the bet about the first episode, not the second.
It's one episode with a double.
If you want to put it that way, then you win on Andrew, but I get the small fry.
But the small fry came with Cerie's plan falling to pieces in front of him.
Well, that doesn't matter.
That was my big thing for the bet.
No, it doesn't matter.
That was.
No.
We got replay the episode.
All
That
right,
was my major thing for the bet.
I disagree.
So I'm taking because if that didn't happen,
I'm taking it. Well, if
that's
that's the case,
if that didn't happen and it was just a Michaela and it wasn't Cerie with her big plan that she thought will work and it blew up in her face, if that didn't happen, I would have cancelled it out. I would have been like, I got one, you got the other.
No.
But because Cerie's thing and that's
I think it's excellent you called that, but I don't think
but that was the bet. The bet wasn't. The main bet was that.
What?
Would it be, something big like you said? If it's going to be
No.
something big happen.
Would it be no? The main bet was whether it would be a big player and a small player.
Yeah, but also you also
And the
thinking
Andrea
that
thing
was the big player.
was the big player.
But in the second episode,
It was
the
the
second
small
half, it was a small player due to the other thing that I called in our bet.
No, but that doesn't matter.
It does matter. It 100% matters because she wouldn't have gone home if Cerie didn't explode.
Well, no, I'm not sure about that.
Implode. Oh, come on.
No, I'm not sure. I'm serious. Like now, I'm looking at it, I'm not sure. But anyway,
I just think this is
that's
someone
my
who
story,
I think this is someone who doesn't want to lose the bet 2 weeks in a row. This is what I feel like. That's what I feel like it is.
No, look, I'm happy to accept I've lost the bet.
Okay, that's all right.
I'm happy to accept it, but I think your reasoning for why I'm accepting it is wrong. There we go.
Well, no, I think.
Come on, give me the stupid
You
shit.
give the shirt. Okay, take the shirt. But because it's back-to-back weeks, I thought about.
I know. It's something else that's stupid. The pledge. What's this? I thought I was going to go to exile.
No, I thought I'd.
Maybe get an
I don't know.
advantage.
No, it's not an advantage.
No?
It's
Are you sure? It looks like an idol.
It looks like an idol.
Do I open it now?
Yeah, open it now. You got to do it now.
Okay.
You open it now.
The pledge. The pledge. Good. Cheap envelope.
Oh, it cost me nothing.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, clear.
We still have zero budget, so.
Oh, dear me. Do I have to read this out loud?
Yeah, you have to read it out loud. It's the pledge.
To the camera.
To the camera, yeah, straight down, yeah.
I, Jack, solemnly swear on this here pledge, the following to go down on record. Today I bow down to the sheer greatness that is Robin. Oh my. From here until the end of eternity, I will never doubt his survivor knowledge. Oh my. I swear to refer to Robin and Sir Robin, ultimate sole survivor, the greatest survivor yet to play the game. But no, he will happily allow me to call him Sir Robin the greatest, and I am forever grateful. I also pledge my honour and soul to my favourite survivor, Debbie Warner! Oh my god!
Read the pledge, it's your pledge.
Her game and skills are most certainly game changing. She's just ahead of her time. If I were to ever run into Debbie, oh god, I will instantly get down on one knee and ask for a hand in marriage. Oh. To conclude, Robin is king. I am a mere peasant in his sight and will live in his shadow forevermore. This pledge is legally binding under the House of the Inmates. Oh my god.
There you go. We've heard it all.
That is disgusting. There's so much of that's so wrong in there. Anyway, but I've pledged it. There you go. You happy?
Yeah.
Oh.
What?
Sorry, I forgot. There. Are you happy, Sir Robin the Greatest?
Yes, yes, I am happy. Okay.
All right, let's get to the episode, please.
Yeah, let's
So I
get
can
to the episode.
Some sanity back in life.
2 immunities this week.
Well, I would like to say I was really surprised by the episode because 4 minutes in, we're doing an immunity challenge.
I know,
Sitting
straight
there,
off the bat,
and I
like
was like,
bang.
this is really strange. What's going
Well,
on? here?
occasionally it happens. They do the double
Yeah,
immunity.
but it's very odd. And I thought maybe there was a change up coming.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I thought, well, maybe there's a change up coming, but well, it wasn't.
Because it still feels like there's a lot of players left.
Well, it was 8 at this stage. There's
yeah.
8. You know, there's still a lot that can happen,
Yeah.
a lot of permutation. Cerie did a one-on-one to camera right at the beginning of the episode where she said she was happy to take Sarah to number 3 with her.
Yeah, that was fun. Like,
It was like,
I'm curious to know why she wants to take Sarah.
well, her reasoning is this, that she's annoyed so many people on that panel, on the jury,
Yeah.
that she would not get any votes. But I think Cerie's seriously miscalculating there.
I think she's also miscalculating where the game sits nowadays.
Yeah,
In the past few
exactly.
seasons, we have actually made quite a bit of progress on letting go of the pain that comes with being voted out.
Yep.
And we are actually awarding, you know what, you bested me. And that seems to be, you know, you played better than I did. And I think Sarah is at the moment being quite worthy of sole survivor.
Absolutely.
So, and I think everyone on the jury loves the game and appreciates the game enough. And even if they probably don't and they're a bit hot-headed, you know, Zeke's probably going to come up and say something about how it's about the game.
Yeah, look,
you know,
that's right, exactly. Zeke is the one that, out of all of them, I think, is most likely to come up and this is why I think actually it's quite good to have, say, Zeke or somebody like Andrea on the jury, because they're the people who are going to sit there and go, guys, it's about the gameplay.
Yeah, and obviously, and even when we did see when Andrea went out, she went straight to Cerie. No hard feelings. You did really. You got me.
Well, yeah.
You got me. Didn't see it coming, and that's someone who will vote purely on game.
Absolutely. And, you know, this is why I class Andrea as a class player, because she's really smart. She understands the social. You can see her map of the social network is pretty much on the ball all the time. But she also doesn't bear any grudges in the sense of like, personal grudge. Like, she doesn't trust Zeke, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not because it was personal. It was because of the gameplay situation.
And if I trusted him, he'd get me out.
Exactly.
And that's exactly. And you got to let that go. And I think that's probably what Cerie's not taking into account, that people do respect the game enough now for
absolutely
that to not be, unless it's like really brutal, unless it's like Russell Hand's brutal.
Yes.
Most people generally respect the blind side.
Just to talk about gameplay for a moment and talk about another season, Tony won $1 million. Tony was not somebody you would classify as a nice guy.
No.
You know what I mean?
That's kind of how it is going now.
There would be plenty of people justifiably on that jury at that time who could have just sat there and gone, Tony.
I don't like him.
I don't like him. I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They gave him the $1 million because he played really well.
Yeah, and I think that's probably definitely a misstep on Cerie's behalf.
We got to the immunity challenge and
Aubry record time.
6 minutes.
6 minutes.
Or something, whatever it was.
And beating Cochrane's 13 or 14 minute record. Great.
Let me get to the tribal. I know there's not a lot to talk about in this first 20 minutes of the episode, but we got to the tribal and Brad, interestingly enough, made the first misstep in his thinking I've seen, and that is Brad talks about. He says in the tribal, "Hey, look, we're on the bottom. Come see us if you want to make a move effectively, right?"
Yeah, you've got someone who's loyal to the end. I think him or Troyzan said as well.
Yeah, but then he says in the same breath, "Well, I've been voting for Andrea. I'm going to vote for her again." And I was like,
I haven't spoken to her because I've been...
And that's what was really... But you see a lot of this in Survivor where... And I think it's an opportunity a lot of people miss. If you voted for somebody twice and they haven't gone home, it's probably a very good idea to go and try and make a deal. Because number one, nobody else in the tribe will see it coming.
Yeah.
Right? That is what if you voted for somebody twice, they're going to assume there's an animosity there.
It's going to be hard to get that trust, but it's worth a risk.
When you're on the bottom like Brad is, you grab at any straw. Go talk to Andrew and say, look, I know I voted for you twice, but can we work a deal out?
Who's your biggest threat?
Exactly.
You want to get out, because that's what it's coming down to. It's not about. And I don't like how they say, I'm on the bottom, you've got me to the end.
Yeah,
that's false. We know
false.
That's not true.
Yeah.
But can I use that to my advantage?
Exactly.
I know I'm not going to stick around with you, and I know the bonds we're going to build in this last 6 days is clearly not going to be as strong as one I had been stuck with since start.
Exactly.
But would it help me win $1 million? Maybe. But this whole loyalty, don't play the loyalty card at this late in the game.
Exactly. It's too late to play the loyalty card. And that's why I was surprised he didn't go to Andrew. I was like, Brad, think about it. Everybody in the tribe assumes you and Andrew are on opposite sides. Go get together.
Yeah.
And be that secret couple.
Anyway. The only thing I have to say, again for me, was Aubry winning immunity to me was, you see this common mistake when someone wins immunity and all of a sudden they think, I have complete control of the game. Who I want to go home goes home. Whenever you win immunity, there was only, and it's not even a case anymore, but back in the early Survivor days when it was 3 people left, immunity takes the second one, and it was final 2. That's the only time ever that immunity means you 100% have control of the game. Even now, if they wanted, I want to vote you out and the other 2 people or whatever, and it becomes final 4 to the final 3 becomes a 2-2 split, you still don't have that power.
Fire.
Yeah, you're going to go to fire. So I just don't understand Aubry's thinking, you know what, I have this around you're safe. But your plan is still dictated by the other 7 people on, your one safe vote doesn't do anything. And I think that's just outright foolish.
I'm really surprised by Aubry because in a previous season, she was a lot smarter than this season. And when she said, when Ty came to her and said, let's vote out Sarah, and she's gone, no, it's Brad. And her reason was, at this stage, he's a big physical threat. I'm like, it's sub 8, it's 8, it's 7, it's going to be 6 soon. Why are you worried about that? I mean, it was a good call to get rid of Brad, but for the wrong reason.
Yeah, exactly. Brad's
a smart player.
If you went, I think Brad has this really good record. Yeah. He's done this, he controlled this, and he's been subtly behind every single thing. Yeah, great. You got it. But the concept of just being a physical player, we know that's not strong enough to guarantee $1 million anymore.
No, absolutely not.
It might have been really impressive in the early days, the early seasons, to watch someone win 6 immunity challenges.
Look, the only time I think it would be legitimate sub 6 to call somebody as a big physical challenge is for the final immunity. If you can sit there and say, if they get to the final immunity, they're going to win, then you vote them out because that is an immunity you don't want them to get, right?
Yeah.
But that's the only time. And so I'm really surprised at Aubry's
and the
lack
fact that prior to when she said this, he'd only ever won 1 immunity.
Exactly.
Outside appearances of a physical body is highly deceiving in this game.
Oh, absolutely.
And I found it rather foolish and just a silly concept. And serves right from going, I had the biggest high of my life and the biggest low. Well, you're not in tune with how the game should be played. You think things that aren't real. Having that necklace doesn't mean you dictate who wants to play. Being a swing vote, maybe, but it doesn't dictate you because you're in control. It's because you were the last picked.
Look at Sarah. She hasn't won an immunity.
No.
And yet she's been winning everything. This is what the problems I have with Ty, right? Ty doesn't make moves. The only moves he makes is around idols.
Yeah, he's in so much power to make a move, but he just sits there.
No, just...
Oh, and his idol is a defense play.
That's right. It's purely about saving me.
Yeah, it's like, okay, if my name comes up, I'll use it.
Yeah.
But why can't you go, well, I feel pretty safe because if I start to hear whisperings or murmurs about me, I'm all right, but who do I want out?
Exactly. Who do I
sit
want
in the power seat or sit second in command so you've got a shield. Don't sit at the bottom and just wait for your name to be called and then go, oh, will I play it, won't I play it? With the madness that did happen in the final tribal, He almost deserves to go home without playing one of his 2 idols. Absolutely deserve that.
Absolutely. If Ty had walked out, I would have been not happy, but I would have been like,
you deserve that.
You deserve that, right?
Yeah, I'm like, play, you know.
But look, I think it shows Aubrey's got no idea about the social map, about the alliance map, or any other map in that game for her to have picked on Brad the way she did.
As we talk about now, like we did, trying to just work out who's going to be final 3 and whatnot. When we go to that final tribal where everyone was kind of chatting, not a single person chatted to her.
Exactly.
She sat there going, "Oh my God, what's happening?" I don't know.
Remember how a couple episodes ago, during that immunity, during the reward challenge, I said, "Oh, look how isolated Michaela is." Yeah. Aubrey's in exactly the same boat. Nobody's talking to her. She's got no idea what's going on.
They're giving her. They're just spoon feeding her what they want her to know, and she's not taking any control of her own game or destiny. She's just sitting there, and she's a perfect candidate to go to the end with someone because she is a zero threat, and that proved it. When no one's talking to her, and this isn't the first time for her to have had this season. No,
that's right.
This season, it's been constant. Her going, "Wow, I didn't see that coming. Wow, I didn't see that coming. I've got to step up my game. I've got to step up my game." What have you done, Aubry?
I think it was episode 4 or 5
with Sandra.
And she's gone, "Oh, I've got to learn from Sandra." And
what have you learned? See any of it. You've learned nothing. You are. Well, she will. Now that we're talking, like now that I'm thinking about it more, she's easily. I'd take her.
Absolutely take her to 3. Like she made the 3 in her first season.
Yeah, but not because of this.
No. She made it to 3 because she had a faction. She ran a faction. She knew how to map the social landscape and how to vote, right?
And her game is.
There's none of that this season.
Maybe her idea of game changes is trying something a bit different. Yeah, she's going along because she's no longer a threat. But that's why you're going along. What do you have? It's a
hard sell at the final.
It's a very hard sell to say I didn't upset anyone.
Yeah.
No one talked to me. I wasn't involved in any blindsides.
If you go back,
I'm here.
Well, if you go back to the first season of Beauty, Bronze and Brains, Tasha, and then on Second Chances, Tasha again, right? She played the loyalty game, which is basically just go along exactly like all this. And it got her the final 3 twice.
Yeah. But that's it. With no votes coming your way,
nothing.
It's not the way you need to play. You need to have something. You need to have some sort of power to your game, some sort of strength.
You need to stand out from the crowd.
And she just blends in more than I've seen anyone actually blend in.
Well, I remember, if you go back to Aubrey's first season, Michelle, who finally won that, she had that advantage to get rid of somebody from the jury.
Yep.
And the first person she picked was Nathan, who was a Aubry supporter.
Yeah.
Like, Aubry had once Nathan left, she
was nothing.
She had, at the final count, Ty got no votes, Aubry got 2, and Michelle got all the rest. So
I kind of feel like we're going to see a very similar potential outcome.
Cerie saw Ty after the vote. Aubry was upset, and he went over. Now this is Ty just being Ty.
Yeah.
He went over and consoled Aubry.
Yeah.
Now he's a sensitive guy. We know that from his first season. That's all he is. But Cerie was misinterpreting this as they're a couple.
That was, I found that odd.
I was like, whoa,
I found that really odd.
You've just spent 33 days on the island with Ty, and you don't realise that he's just a sensitive guy who, if you feel in pain, he's going to come up and he's going to give you a hug.
Yeah.
That's the way he is.
That's Ty. He's very open to emotion.
Absolutely, right? And I don't think anybody's in on it. And that's why it stunned me when Cerie said, "Oh, that looks like a power couple." It was like, no, that's just Ty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I agree.
I thought that was
that was weird. That was a weird way of reading that situation.
That's right. It was very weird. So
it's like you've got, and on top of that, you've also got 2 people who have 0 power in the game.
Yeah.
What? How much of a power couple can they actually be?
Exactly.
Like when you think about it, like you put Ty and
Aubry
together.
Our power is invisibility.
I know.
It's like we can be invisible together.
Yeah. We'll float. We'll drift our way to final 3, and both
we'll
get 0 votes.
We'll strike at final 3.
No one saw us coming.
That's an issue we should discuss. I think maybe because we're actually going to get there in this episode. There's this prevalent idea on a lot of seasons and a lot of players that they think the time to strike is at 6. And really, for me, the shouting's pretty much over by the time you get to 6. I mean, you had to be an exceptional player to make a resume up in the final 3 episodes, which Michelle did last season, right?
Yeah, it is. I was going to say it's 100% possible.
Oh, it's possible, but it's difficult.
It's hard. Like, right? but I think sometimes, I guess sometimes, say in Michelle's case, you might not have options to be able to play because she was completely back against the wall.
Exactly.
She didn't have as many options. But if you're given options, like Aubry has so many options, but you should be doing this.
Aubry could have gone to Brad and Troyson.
So many things you could have done. Like
it's.
You could have been here, you could have done that, you could have done this.
Right.
But you've done nothing.
All she's done is voted with the block.
Yeah, and every single time. And not even put in any
effort
or input.
As far as I can see, Sarah or Andrea's come up to her and gone, look, we're voting whoever. And she's gone, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
that's it.
And it's the same time, this time she says to Cerie, I want to get rid of Brad. And she's like, nope. It's not how this game's working.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you haven't, you can't sit there and drift to 6 and then start to chuck it into 4th and speed off.
If you're like, okay, the starting gun's gone off, but it's 6. You've missed the race.
I was going to say the only way you're getting there is if in some Michelle's different. Depending
Michelle
on
had her back on the...
But she was also fighting.
She fought.
She's fighting the whole time.
Exactly.
But, Aubry's not fighting.
No.
Aubrey, what it reminds me of when you put it into that race, I don't know if anyone's ever watched this, but in Australia we've got a gold medalist ice skater.
Oh yeah, exactly, yes.
And if you've ever seen it, look it up online.
Yeah.
He is miles behind. And this is how I see Aubry's gameplay.
Yeah.
She shouldn't be there. This guy shouldn't have been there. But some weird freak incident caused everyone else to fall over. And he just skated on through. This is the only way she could have
Norwegians, Swedish ice skaters.
Who they ice skate to school.
Yeah, right.
They ice skate out of the womb. They're born doing it.
And he skates on through and wins the gold medal because they all fell over.
And we see snow 3 weeks of a year.
Yeah. But that's what Aubry's seeing is like, she's just hoping everybody else falls
everyone else falls. And you know what? It is possible with the amount of idols and stuff that could happen. We could get a lot of weirdness happening in the next 2 hours that we've got to watch. We could, or we might not. We should get something, but we still might not.
So we might as well talk about the final tribal then, because that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. Brad wins the immunity, needed to win immunity.
And he needed that immunity.
His emotion was just, it was right.
Well, this is the thing. Brad has a fairly good idea of who's playing with who. Mm-hmm. So he knows he's under the gun.
Brad's got a good head on him.
And that's why, whereas Aubry, this is the thing. When Brad was going, because he knew he had to win that one, right?
Yeah.
Aubry rolls her eyes. I'm like, you shouldn't be rolling your eyes at that. If you understood what his position is, you would understand that is just like, literally, Brad just got a life.
Yeah. You might roll your eyes because my plan's ruined.
Yeah, but that wasn't.
It was never your plan.
Why are you celebrating so hard? He was going home if he did.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah. And so that was a good thing for Brad to get through. And he's still, and this is great for me to, I really enjoy seeing Brad now. He was at the top of the tree.
Oh, yeah.
He's now very much an underdog, and he's now fighting for his life. And you know what? I'm a big fan.
I am.
And you and I we've been big fans of Brad since, he's been playing a very good game. We've put it very similar to a Boston Rob style game.
Oh, yeah.
And now he's doing very, very well, and he's still not, he's a big target. Don't get us wrong. He's a very big target.
Yeah.
But he's not the biggest target out there. Which is a great spot to be in.
Well, the other thing is, his name's come up quite a bit lately, and he's still there.
It's coming up again. Right? It's coming up a bit lately because he's not the power of your Sarahs, your Andreas, your Ceries, who they should be the ones you're trying to get out, who have some.
Exactly.
They're the ones controlling the shots, so their names aren't being mentioned. Who else do you go to? You go to the one threat you have because the others aren't threats. That's why Brad's name's been mentioned. But now with this whole interesting event of Cerie trying to play Sarah's little legacy event. No, not the legacy.
Well,
it was the
no, it's
it was
the steal
steal
of
of
vote
vote.
advantage, which
without
was,
reading, without reading what
which
you
was
had.
the one that Michaela was sitting on for about half an hour.
Yeah.
But anyway,
When she watches that footage back and
man.
sees that it was right under there, she'll be
that
kicking
would
some
be
other
her.
stuff.
Well,
You know
when
the
she
things Michaela
well,
kicks.
you know when Brad
She
won the
kicked the puzzle?
immunity, you see her kick the.
She kicks
my-
everything. She's just getting so.
She's a
kicking,
fiery
yeah.
character.
Yeah.
Brad's name's been coming up because the other threats in the game are the ones controlling it.
Yeah.
It always bemuses me that people in Ty or Aubry's position don't go to somebody like Troyzen and Brad and go, look, these people are running the game.
Yeah.
Let's flip it.
These is game changers.
But they're
Well,
not.
you should know this. You should
Yeah.
see that. My alliance is actually. Where do I sit in my alliance?
Exactly.
Are people listening to me?
Mm.
They're not listening to me. It's time to jump ship, swim on over to the
Exactly.
people who are
Right.
trying to get out while you have the numbers. Like
Well,
right
you've
now,
got the numbers.
right now you can swing over and you've got them, and you like.
Ty and Aubry are literally sitting there getting told who to vote. They can see that Andrea, Sarah, and Cerie are the ones telling them to do it.
Yeah.
Go over to Troyzen and Brad and go, guys, let's make a deal.
Yeah, it's not about loyalty now. It's
No.
just about your own game. Have some balls, have some initiative,
Right?
and do it. Take that confidence in your ability to talk to someone who is on the bottom.
You know,
Because you're also
Yeah.
on the bottom, and
Ty-
also you have no game. You have nothing
Yeah.
to give to the council at the end.
Ty in his one-on-one to Cameron, in part of this episode, said something along the lines of like, I'm going to have to make a move so that I've got a resume when I get to 3.
Mm.
And I was like, the only reason that you're there is because you've been in offensive. You got 2 idols. That's the only move you've got.
Yeah, you've got no move.
You-
You could if you started
yeah.
playing the game.
And nobody's going to give that. An idol move is a great move, but if you rack that Ty's one idol move up against Sarah's 5 or 6 moves now
Yeah.
of just social gameplay,
Yeah.
it just doesn't stack up.
No way.
Right?
Yeah,
So-
no one voted me out, but if they tried, they couldn't because I had some idols.
Idols, right? I kept 2 idols till 6.
Exactly.
It's not a great resume, right?
No.
But anyway, let's talk about
It's
Survivor.
harder to keep the chickens alive than keep 2 idols till 6. Come on, Ty, do something.
I thought, to be honest, when I first watched and I saw Sarah give Cerie the advantage,
Yeah.
I was like, what are you doing?
So I did the same thing. I'm like, what are you?
This is insane. And I thought immediately, as soon as she did it, I thought, have you not, you just did this to Sierra the very week before. Cerie is going to do it to you. You've given her an advantage, she's going to use it to get rid of you.
And I didn't even see this coming.
Neither did I, because obviously, at no stage during the thing was everything read out, right?
Yeah.
But I was sitting there going, this is insane. But when the thing washes out, it actually turns out to be an incredibly smart move on Sarah's part.
Again, yeah. Even now we're
Right.
sitting here talking about it. That was a test for Sarah.
It
to
was.
Cerie.
It was a test,
Plain
a
and
total
simple, just a test.
And it was such a brilliant test. And if I had known what was on that paper before she handed it over, I would have sat there and gone, fuck that smart thinking.
So, but like we do know that, like, because she did. We just forget about it. And I'm sure Cerie would have read it herself. Surely she just was like,
No.
"Oh, it's been handed to me,"
No, to be honest, I think Cerie's been handed it.
and never read it.
Sarah's told her what it is, and she's just run with it.
No way. Surely you would have had a look.
No, because
Curiosity killed the cat.
no,
Surely.
but it's the same with like.
I mean, I think you just get excited. It's like, I can steal a vote. Yeah, cool. I
Yeah,
can't steal it. It
but
wasn't stolen. She
why
gave
would
it
you
to me.
bother reading the next bit?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think
You know what I
I
mean?
think you just brush over it, but it wouldn't
Exactly.
register.
No.
And it's just like, when I'm like, why would you give? If she's only told them about a vote that is only hers. No
Yes.
one else can have it.
Exactly.
And that's actually not. That's probably the only vote or the only advantage you could probably tell anyone about, because if I tell you about it, sure, I'll use it, or you can try and do anything with it, but it's mine.
It's fine.
Nothing else. No, I can't give it to anyone. If I do, you still can't use it. So that was, again, another little brilliant play by Sarah. It's
Brilliant
like-
place by Sarah.
and she's seen that even though Cerie was doing it to save Sarah,
Well, we can't say that because
we can't.
Well,
No.
sorry, That's what Cerie says she was doing.
I like to believe her because of how she has played so far.
Well, all I'm going to say is this. Cerie said to Michaela that she wanted us to play it to save Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm not going to doubt her motivations there, right? But the thing about all this sort of stuff, as you know, is you don't really know until they write a name down.
Yeah, that's true.
What's going on. As a player, it was brilliant. In the end, I sit there and go, not only does she get somebody to go home, she wants to go home, she's also managed to test one of her closest ally.
And got rid of her closest ally's ally.
Right? It was just a brilliant gameplay. She's just put Cerie basically in her back pocket.
And also now can manipulate that too, which we saw jump ship with the boys.
Exactly.
And piss the others off. And Cerie's now in a terrible position and has some
this is what I think is interesting is Sarah didn't go to Cerie's. Sarah didn't go to Ty. She didn't go to Aubry. She's gone to
Aubry.
No, but all I'm saying is she's gone straight to the boys and gone, I'm about the Seals Ties vote and I'm voting Michaela. Are you guys on board? And of course, Brad and Troy's are going to go, yes, we are on board with this because, you know what I mean?
Easy.
But it's a flip she's done. She's just flipped on her alliance, right? But she's done it in such a way.
And she's done it in a way that you can't blame her for flipping.
No, exactly.
Because her alliance had flipped in front of everyone and in front of the jury.
That's right.
So it's just to flip on your own alliance. She doesn't. That's not pain. You can't hate her for it.
That's right. And she gets to vote Michaela off. Weaken Cerie incredibly. And it looks like a good thing. You know what I mean? It looks like she's the victim.
Exactly. She's come out as a victim.
That's right. It's just...
You know, she's even like, even when Cerie goes to play the vote, she's like...
Now, when I remember back to the first episode of this season where they had a one-on-one with Sarah and she was like, well, my first season I played like a cop, right? This season I'm going to play like a criminal. Well, if this is her playing like a criminal...
Lock your doors.
Exactly.
Lock your doors.
She should quit the police force and go to crime full time, right?
She's doing very, very well.
It was just an amazing
thing to watch.
It's
only a matter of time, though, until the criminal gets caught.
Well, she hasn't been yet. And she's been doing it in front of everybody.
She's been doing it in front of everyone, but this is the first time where it's actually come up so prevalent in front of everyone. No. But it's like the idol.
Remember? Remember the Debbie vote? After the Debbie vote, she came back to the camp and she goes, is anybody mystified about who flipped? It was me.
It was me, yeah.
Right? I was like, that's an amazing move too, right?
She's very, very strong and she's been playing solid and she's now
doing it in the open.
And she's now getting rid of her biggest threats.
Yeah,
she's eliminating and she's, you know, if you want to come to that's the thing, she's now being part of a key thing to eliminate every key threat for her.
Absolutely.
Andrea there. She's now also put her other big threat. Zeke.
Right.
She's also put her other big threat as who is Cerie in the firing line.
She has, and well, the important thing about Gary, when I first saw Michaela's name come, I was like, "What the hell is this about?" And then when I thought about it, I thought, "No, this is actually really brilliant because she is just basically taking Marie as Cerie's voting block away." Cerie is now just a player.
Yeah, she doesn't have a 1+1.
No, she doesn't have a +1.
She's had a +1 for quite some time.
It's quite a long time, right?
Yeah,
and Sarah's managed to use that all that time too. Those 2 votes, right? Now she's like, no, you just 1 vote now.
Yeah.
And whether or not you go any further depends on how well you play the game from now on.
And now, you know, as we obviously that's pretty much that wraps up that. Like the next part is. You're competing with one person who has 2 idols, another person who has an idol, another person who has an idol next episode. Plus, Cerie's not going to win.
Her resume is rubbish now.
You know, that's her. That you know, she could have done something, and if that did actually work out to her favour, and she did do something, that's a great thing for the jury to see.
Oh yeah,
that would have been a great play if it worked. But it backfired in her face.
Absolutely.
And.
Well, this is the thing. If she's doing it to save Sarah, the funny thing is it's backfired totally so that Sarah came out looking like gold.
I know, and if that was your only option, if you couldn't convince Sarah otherwise prior to the advantage...
Exactly.
If you couldn't convince Sarah and go, look, Aubry is really gunning for you. I know
Yes.
you don't believe me.
Yep.
You've got to.
Or Ty or whatever.
Or let's try and I know, but let's try and mix it up because I don't want you to go home.
Yeah.
I know you don't believe me, but this is, why would I be doing this? Like, you got to be able to convince her some other way.
The problem is, I think Sarah thinks she's got such a good handle on the game at the moment that she probably is going to take her own advice before she takes somebody else.
100% agree. And I guess this is also coming from her years of being a cop. She reads people very well, and she's doing that.
Listen, we know what. This is funny, right? You know what it's like with Debbie, you know? I've been in military and I know how to read people and she's got no idea. And you look at chalk and cheese between Sarah.
Debbie's your future wife.
Right. Let's not go there, right? But what I mean is there's chalk and cheese between. Sarah's ability to read people is really
and like you said, she also knows, she goes, yep, cool. I trust my gameplay because I am in tune with what's going on.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, you've got to trust your instincts. Now, in that point of fact, it was wrong. Her choice was wrong. Cerie was right.
Yeah.
Ty was going to try and vote Sarah. That's what he wanted to do with Troy's, and then whether or not it would have come off is something else.
And the funny thing is, as soon as Ty seems to get in a position where it's time to make a big move. Oh, I've been busted. Like here in the headlights. Okay, Aubry it is. Let's do what we were originally talking about. You know, he goes back. He still doesn't stick to his guns. He panics and he goes back.
Well, interestingly enough, the only person who voted for Aubry there was Cerie.
And Ty.
Oh, and Ty. Sorry, yeah. And the other interesting thing was, did you see Brad talking to Ty at the end of that? It was only like about a second long. And Brad didn't need to be right. He actually pointed to one wrong person. Like, two people voted for Ty. And he's gone, her and her voted for you.
Yeah, Michaela and Cerie.
No, Michaela and Cerie voted for Ty, right?
Yeah.
But he's pointed to Aubry.
I thought he
right? No, he's pointed to Aubry, right? And he's gone, her and her voted for you. And Ty's gone like this, right? Like
securing up the guy.
That's what I mean.
Let's get the
this
boys
is
back.
How well Brad's playing, right? He's actually seen this just happen in that, and it's a very fluid situation.
Yeah.
But he's grabbed an advantage. He's gone, I can actually get Ty here
to trust me again.
Yeah, to trust me again, and he's grabbed him straight away.
Yeah.
Her and her voted for you, meaning your head's on the chopping block.
Why aren't you with us? Why aren't you with us? Why didn't you leave us from the beginning?
Exactly. Right? So I think it was a really good move on Brad's part. Right there at the end.
Yeah.
So next week
we've got our double episode. So this is a tough one.
Finale.
So we're gonna go our little bet this week.
A little bet. It's gonna be a big bet.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's like we're gonna try and pick the final three.
Yeah.
And who will be sole survivor? I think we're pretty similar in agreeing here. So. Then and that's okay.
Oh no! Look, I think the reason we're in agreement is because when you start getting down to 6, it starts to become a lot clearer.
Yeah, that's true. So I still think a sole survivor. I feel like it only can come between 2 people.
Absolutely.
But I'm kind of pushing towards Brad.
Me too.
Because I think Sarah will go after she uses the legacy.
It all depends on how the immunities play out across the actual immunities, right?
Or the challenge.
Well, we'll talk about the idols in a minute, but the challenges, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, oftentimes who wins the last immunity dictates who's final 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's also because people are scared to kind of go to fire.
Yeah, exactly, right? If I was on the underdog, I'd be going to fire. But
yeah, exactly.
Look, I'm in agreement with you. I think Sarah's just played so well. She has such a good... I think if she goes to 3, it's $1 million to her.
Yeah, it's hard to beat her.
Everybody else there can see that, and everybody's going to be gunning for it from here on out.
Yeah, you can't go with Sarah.
You can't go with Sarah. You can't. Ty must know that now. Aubry must know that now. So they're going to have to vote against it whether they want to or not.
And if they don't know it now, they know it the first vote next week when she plays the legacy advantage.
Yeah.
If you still can't see that Sarah's resume is so strong, Once that legacy gets played,
yeah.
you need to. Where the hell did she get this?
Like, you
how
know,
did she get these things? Why does she have them, and why did none of us know about them?
And you put
And
together
everything else she's voted out.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You put together all the people she's just voted out by just playing socially, right?
Yeah.
And then you put together, oh, by the way, I also played I stole a vote and got the card. Then I played a legacy advantage and I had immunity, so and it starts to really rack up.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing. It's like, can she get to the end? That's like, if she gets to the end, she wins.
Oh, she wins.
But like we just said about the criminals, like sooner or later a criminal does get caught, and she's, you know, she's in a point now where the cop sirens are going and everyone's hunting down Sarah.
Exactly. And I think,
but can she avoid that? That's the key.
That's the key.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think Brad will win, because Brad is still, for me, and I think for you, he's playing that middle game. Like, he's still, even though he's come up as a threat, he's never the biggest threat.
No, he's had a shield, and even though he kind of can be seen as a really big threat, there's still stuff going around him that makes
bigger.
That you
know, Andrea was bigger than him. Right.
And I think that's almost a really, like, putting himself, not that he put himself, but that moment where his power alliance crumbled and put him on the bottom is why Brad almost probably still in the game. Because if he wasn't, if it was still Sierra Brad running the show,
they'd all be gunning for him.
His target would be huge. So it almost is a blessing in disguise that he got pushed down to underdog.
Yeah,
you have to fight a bit harder to stay in.
Yeah,
but you've already got a resume prior.
That's right.
If you can get there, because other stuff's going on around you, while you're still in tune, you're not completely off the ball, you're not sitting there not knowing what's going on. Like, if he was not knowing what's going on, he knew that he wouldn't have known that winning that immunity for him wasn't such a big deal. He would have been like, oh, cool, I want immunity again. But he knows.
I think for Brad to make it to 3, the other thing that will have to happen is, and this is why I think once he gets to 3, he'll win the $1 million, is he'll probably have to be the architect to get rid of Sarah.
Yeah.
So he'll be able to go to his 3, go, this is my resume up to this point, then I became an underdog and I fought my and everybody can see him do it, right? And then he can go, oh, and I got rid of the best player in the game here at the moment,
you know,
Sarah.
And you know, where we're sitting now, we're sitting at 6.
Yeah.
You can't get rid of her. We know you can't get rid of her next turn.
Nope.
Which is unfortunate. He doesn't know that. We know that.
We know that.
But if talk comes out about Troyzan with an idol, Ty with 2, it's almost very possible that all 3 of them can just come in and be like, let's change this game. Yeah. We're playing what we want. And if Brad could orchestrate that and be like, bye-bye Sarah, if the legacy was in play, that would be game-changing. There's your final 3. Because then Cerie and Aubry, chances of them winning another immunity, Aubry could.
No, they could win an immunity, could win. But all that means
the other
from
one goes.
Troyzan and Brad's side is they send Ty home instead.
Yeah, or they send Cerie, or they send Aubry. Whoever doesn't win immunity, they send the other ones. And
it's a non-player.
So it is possible that they could flip the game around with those.
Absolutely. Look,
it's going to be crazy next week.
I think we need to talk about the idol situation at the moment. We're down to 6. Ty has 2. Sarah has a
legacy, which is
she has to play next at 6. She has to play at 6. There's no point.
Yeah, there's no point keeping it as a superhero.
And there's going to be the regular immunity up for grabs.
And Troyzan's immunity.
So we've got
right? four immunities.
Possibly plus 4 people.
Possibly 5.
Who could be, possibly 5 if Ty played for someone else.
Imagine that though. 5 immunities, like 4 immunities get played, that someone an Aubry or Cerie also wins immunity. You've only got one person to vote for.
That's it.
But I'd blow my mind.
Oh, it would be incredible if it did, but I don't think it's going to pan out that way. We know Sarah will definitely play hers because there's no reason not to, right? I think Sarah will be the target.
Yep, so
but, you know, that's an opportunity for somebody else there, like, say, Ty or Aubry. I know they don't know it's coming, but it's one of those things like, it's almost like a split vote.
Yeah.
If you actually got a strong little minority together, you could actually send somebody home that you didn't, who otherwise wouldn't suspect it. But they don't know Sarah's got it.
Yeah, they don't know. Coming. But even if they start talking, like, it wouldn't matter. They could,
But here's the question: does Ty can do this? He can play one next episode and make it to 5. He can play 1 at 5 and make it to 4. He can guarantee himself 4 at the moment.
And you can't play it at 4.
And you can't play it at 4, but you can win an immunity.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and Ty is actually very good at immunities, right?
Yeah, he's good.
Technically, he could be in the 3.
Though the final immunity is a monster. You see that big maze? God,
yeah.
that excited me.
Oh.
God, how fun.
But anyway, all I'm saying though is that Ty is quite possibly could get himself in the 3 just by idling an immunity, right? He'll have no resume.
Yeah.
Right? But, so the question becomes, and this is the other point, is does Ty play 1 next week, or does he wait and keep 2 at 5, which is him and someone else? And that's when it really becomes interesting.
Yeah.
See,
and he might, because I kind of think I think the first person to go next week would probably be Cerie.
I think they're going to go Sarah next week. But
yeah, but she can't go. She 100% can't go.
Yes,
so
I
think because of that, the fallout of that would be
the
Cerie.
fallout will be Cerie. Oh,
I feel like, I don't know.
Look, I think the problem is, I don't think it will be Cerie. I think it will be Aubry. You know why? Because she's gone for Brad.
Yeah.
Right. She's already put her hand up and gone, I want Brad gone. Right. And I think if Sarah's got that, and that's immunity for Sarah comes out, I think Brad will be like, well, let's get rid of Aubry. But anyway,
I just think Aubry has no power, and I think Brad's smart enough. Yeah, she's gunning for me, but with what army?
Oh yeah, she's got no power. Yeah. But I don't know.
At that point, at that late in the game, I don't think Brad needs to worry
I would hope Brad would be actually smart than that and go, well, look, Aubry's great to take to 3.
Yeah.
I want to take Aubry and Troy's into 3.
I'll take the person who tried to vote me out 17 times and was never able to.
Was never able to. What a great resume.
Yeah.
You know, that'd be... But a lot of players don't think
you
that way.
vote for Brad every night.
Yeah. Exactly. That's right. But what I mean is a lot of players don't think that way. They think, well, you voted me, so I'm going to vote you.
Yeah.
And it's that tit for tat, and you shouldn't be thinking that way. But anyway, but I'm going, final 3 is going to be Brad. I agree with that one. Who else? What's your other
my final 3, I feel like it's going to be I feel it's going to be Brad, Troyzan, and Ty, or Brad, or alternating a Ty and Aubry situation.
Look, I've got to agree. I think I don't doubt Troyzan will be there.
Yeah, I think
I think Brad and Troyzan's bond
is enough alone for them to stick together.
Well, they've pretty much developed into the power couple.
Yeah, which has no power. They're the powerless couple.
Yeah, the powerless, but they are still a couple. And honestly, once you go sub 6, if you got one other person you can count on,
that's it.
That is a big plus in your gameplay. That is a big plus.
Yeah.
Look at Boss and Rob and Amber or whatever whoever you want to go. So I'm going to agree with you. I think Brad and Troyzan, and then it's just the toss-up of whether it's Ty or Aubry or Cerie.
Yeah, Cerie could get in there, but I think we'll see Cerie and Sarah be the ones who.
I think so because the problem for Cerie is that she has, whether she wants to or not, she's seen as in Sarah's camp.
Yeah, and also whatever happened, the repercussions of whatever happened in her blunder last night or the last tribal. It's going to be hard to kind of maybe figure a way out of. Not that it's.
She's in a difficult position.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's not a hole that she's put herself in. Like we've seen other people put themselves in big holes. Yeah. But it is a bit of a situation that's kind of going to need a bit of work to kind of recover from.
I'm not sure. Look, if they're going to go for Sarah next week, which they've got every expectation, I think, of doing, right? Cerie actually could flip on Sarah and go to the boys and go, well, look, obviously Sarah's the target. She could save her game in that sense. Like, if she believed that Sarah was going home, then because she doesn't know about the advantage, right? It would look pretty good to her.
Yeah, unless something comes up and Sarah just goes,
she could do that. But this is what I think Cerie will try to do because of what I've just seen. I think she will actually try to repair the relationship with Sarah.
Yeah, I 100% think she'll try to repair.
She will try to get back. She will try to stay with Sarah.
Yeah.
And she will try to get Ty on board to vote Brad or Troy.
Yeah, and I 100% agree. She'll try and. But it's more. My thing was, will Sarah allow the repair? That's what I'm trying to think. Like
exactly.
That's the only thing I think of. Is like, would she allow that, or would she go? You know what? Cerie's done well. Cerie's played with me. I've seen her. She could match me as far she's got stuff to say because she said this. Time to get rid of her. She's also
I I don't know why I think this, but I actually think Sarah will welcome her back.
Yeah.
Because I think Sarah's going to sit there and go,
you don't have anyone else now.
You don't have anybody else. You've only got me now. The boys know you're with me.
Yeah.
Right? Blah, blah, blah. But more importantly, I actually think Sarah likes Cerie.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
100%
genuinely
agree.
likes her. And I think she actually would want to believe that Sarah did it for the right reason. It just didn't do... It just wasn't what Sarah wanted to happen.
Yeah, agree.
And that's what was the real problem. And I think they will repair the relationship. And that repair of that relationship is probably the reason why Brad and Troy's will make the 3. If they split and stayed apart, I think it'd be more up in the air.
Yeah. So it's interesting, but
so I'm going to go Brad, Troyson,
and a floater. Yeah,
and it's going to be a floater.
It's going to be a floater.
I'll pick Ty.
I'll pick Aubrey. Just
you
for
pick
the sake
Aubry
of it.
for what the sake.
But you know what? We'll probably get Cerie in there.
Yeah.
But if Sarah,
Hey, look,
Sarah makes it, great. She's sole survivor. Who would you love to see? I think
Sarah.
I'd love to see Sarah and Brad in there.
Oh, Sarah and Brad head to head.
Definitely, I'd definitely love to see them. And because the only other person who I think can give some form of gameplay would be Cerie.
Yeah.
I'd like to see those 3 because I'd like to see for once, or not for once, but I'd like to see a good, like at least 3 people that actually have a case to plead.
Look, I'd like to see 3 people. I just think the problem is with the whole 3 play. Sarah and Brad's resume just overtops everybody.
It does. It definitely does.
It just...
There's still,
And look, to be honest, I think Brad's played a terrific game, but Sarah's... But yeah, it would be good. It'd be a close run.
They've both played very terrific games.
And
they've both been very different, which is really good.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. So it's hard. We'll get to see next week. Will be our final episode for this season, and then we'll have to wait.
Well, it may not be our final video about the season. We may have a treat for the viewers later on afterwards. It's
our potential one viewer.
Potential one. That's right. The one
out there watching.
The one.
Thank you.
In every other season, we would have had one more episode before the final.
Yeah, it's a big. Right? Yeah, this is a.
And I would really have loved to have had that separate episode for that one more week because I think next week is going to be an idol explosion.
It's going to be massive. 2 hours of 3 hidden idols and 1 legacy that will be.
It's going to be a lot to cover in the next episode.
Yeah, so it's going to be a bit of a hectic one, but we'll see what happens. It's going to be fun, and I always look forward to the finale.
Yep.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Take care, and we'll see you then.